The risk of tropical development is very well possible for multiple areas across areas of the Atlantic out there. Michael here to give you an update on the latest on what's going on out there in the weather community. So, as you can tell, we have a lot to talk about today. We have some heat advisories that are in effect, some flood warnings that are in effect for areas of the Midwest, and then we also have the chance of tropical development as we move down here. Now, Tropical Storm Cristobal has already been turned into a tropical depression. As stated before, this storm probably wouldn't do any thing like rain or anything would be to these small islands out here, but not much is going to happen out there. But as you can see here, we do have a tropical disturbance. This is Atlantic disturbance 1, 80% in the next 2 days still, and 80% in the next 7 days. We have another storm system behind that, 50% in the next 7 days and 30% in the next 2 days. But my name is Michael. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let's continue on with this. So we have the chance of tropical development as we've talked about before. So what does that mean for us? We have a lot of things on the table that's going to be unpredictable with this storm system right here, and I'm going to show you in just a second. So we have that disturbance that's right here in the Atlantic. As you can see, areas of Charlestown, areas of San Juan, and things like that. All of these areas, all of these islands that are in this area, you need to be on alert, to be honest. Some flooding rains will be possible, as we know. Sometimes tropical storms can still be powerful, even though they are not in the hurricane status, and that's why we have to be on high alert. So if you're in these areas of these islands right here, you need to watch out for this. Now, as far as impacts for the United States, if this storm were to form, we still have to watch out because this storm could be moving in this direction like this. But more than likely, we're seeing, to be honest, a storm moving like this with that Bermuda high that we've talked about before, and that storm sort of moving up in that direction that may bring problems to Bimini, but we don't have an exact forecast of that yet. So what we're looking at here, and I'm going to show you the radar in just a second. Well, the not radar, the model. And this is what the GFS is showing. Now, we have other models that we have to look at as well, so we have to watch out for things like that. But as you look at the GFS model, you look at those storm systems, and you can see those storm systems out here. There's two different ones out here. The first storm system sort of dissipates away, but then we have the next storm system trying to get a kickoff there. Look at those reds on your screen right there, and I'm going to circle it for you so you know where I'm talking. Right into this area right here is that storm system that's trying to move on across for areas, and this is going to be the 12Z run of our model. We're going to be dealing with this storm having the possibility of getting close to the United States. And as I talked about that pull with the Bermuda High, that's what the GFS is showing. We can look at the 6Z run of this model right quick and just see what's happening. Just move that along and that storm dissipates. But then we also get another storm. So there's a lot of storms that are possible that the GFS has been hinting of. Multiple storms rolling off the coast of Africa, something we got to watch out for multiple areas of the United States. So this is just, I mean, this is just going to continue. These storms are going to roll off. It's starting to get towards the and I wouldn't say that we're at the absolute peak of hurricane season, but we're getting to the peak period of hurricane season where these storms will continue to just develop. They're going to continue to form and then show us those shower and thunderstorm activity across multiple areas of the United States. So as far as today, here's a look at our heat alerts that we have going on. We have heat advisories in effect for areas of the I-20 corridor. This is going to be areas along the I-95 corridor as well in the south. Almost the entirety of the state of Florida, really the only areas, like I said before, are going to be Key West. It's not under that heat advisory, but as well as the mainland parts of Florida, the entire state is under those heat advisories. In Georgia, pretty much everybody under heat advisories except for Metro Atlanta, to be honest. Wouldn't be surprised if that changed for tomorrow, as we're going to be looking at a lot of heat that is possible. I'm probably going to show you a map of that. But as you can see across the low country, we're going to have extreme heat warnings that are going to be in effect. This is going to be for Charleston, Savannah, and Brunswick that are under those extreme heat warnings. Extreme heat warnings are in effect for areas of Kansas City, St. Louis, Wichita, Springfield, and west of Memphis. Little Rock, you're going to be in this extreme heat warning as well. So if you're in Little Rock, you've got to deal with that. Tulsa, you're under extreme heat warnings. Some red flag warnings that we have to watch out for these areas as well. This is going to be east of Amarillo. We also have a heat advisory in effect for these areas. As you can see, We got to watch out for heat advisories for the Dallas, Fort Worth, New Orleans, and San Antonio. That's something that we're looking out for. Air quality alerts in the west and red flag warnings in the west as well. Heat advisories, even in effect for areas around these areas that get near Alaska, as you can see. Heat advisories in these areas. That's something we definitely got to watch out for as we get into these areas around Alaska. Um, that are in Alaska and around. So this is around Canada that you're going to be dealing with these heat advisories. So it really we also have heat advisories that are in effect for areas of northern Alaska. Yes, in northern Alaska, heat advisories will be in effect. So these temperatures are getting hot, and this is something we got to look out for well across the 50 states of the U.S. Um, Now, as we get down here to Hawaii, we're going to talk about this as well. We do have what is this here? This is a hurricane watch in effect. So I would assume there's a tropical storm warning there as well, but it's kind of just not showing up there. But high surf advisories in effect, high surf advisories. But a hurricane watch is in effect for those areas right there. I'm going to show you why in just a second why that hurricane watch is in effect. So if we get here to our outlook, let's see here. National Hurricane Center. We have our cone here. As you can see, tropical storm development is possible. We do have the storm down here, but that's going to turn into a tropical depression eventually. As you can see right here, we have our tropical storm that it's possible. But to be honest, as we get into area, we have areas of strengthening that are possible. To be honest, this storm would probably get close to hurricane status. So don't sleep on this storm if you're in these areas of Hawaii. So really around Captain Cook. And you look at these areas and you're like, well, Honolulu is not going to be a part of this storm at all. Well, you'd be wrong. Honolulu would be part of this storm because what you have here, this cone here is showing the eye of the storm. So let me get my pen tool out. If you look at the storm like this, the cone could go right here. The cone could go in the center line, anywhere in this bubble that you see here. This line is honestly, that line just shows you the intensity track, but as you get anywhere in this bubble, that's where the center of the cone could go. So if you're in these areas, tropical storm conditions are possible with the center, but then as you get to the northern sections, which is going to be this side of the storm, the worst intensity is going to be towards the northeast of this storm, preferably. And what that's going to do is you're going to have conditions well along which really would set up what we call the dirty side of that storm towards Honolulu, towards these multiple island areas. That's why that hurricane watch is in effect there, because they don't know this storm could honestly become a hurricane. It's expected to become a hurricane on August 18th, but it could become a hurricane well before that. And when it becomes a hurricane, then you have hurricane conditions possible to the north and to the east of that storm. So this is just the center. This bubble is just the center area of the cone. But any conditions that are towards the north and the east of this system would be hurricane conditions that are possible. So although you're not in the bubble and you're not in the cone, conditions are still possible with the storm. Remember, the center could go to the storm, and if the center shifts east, which could happen, the cone also could shift east. So that's something that can happen. So if the center were to shift east, like towards the east of this track right into here, then you'd be talking about a cone for that area right there. So this is where the center can go. And if you're in this area, that's why you have to continue to monitor and see what's happening in these specific areas along the Hawaiian coastline. So that's something we got to look out for there. Now, back towards the Atlantic, I want to explain this a little bit more. This is going to be towards the Atlantic. Right here, you have your areas of development. To be honest, this storm's probably going to develop. Maybe not today because it's been struggling at this 80% for a while, but it'll develop sometime soon. Very soon, to be honest. But Atlantic disturbance number two, 50% medium and 30% low development. Remember, there is a 20% chance on this storm that it won't develop. But to be honest, this storm's probably going to develop, and this is why these islands need to watch out. So if you live in these areas right here, which I'm going to circle them out, towards San Juan and things like that, you're going to be in this area. You need to be watching out for a storm. A tropical storm is possible. Could we get a hurricane? We don't know yet. We don't know any of the cone. Remember, we do have the wind shear. There's a lot of wind shear that's happening here in these areas. To be honest, this storm could sneak on by this wind shear. Specifically, this one behind it, we've got to watch out for. And then what the GFS is hinting off, although that's very far out, another storm system could possibly be like in that area right there that rolls off. So we're going to continue to get these storms rolling off. We are getting towards that peak period of hurricane season. But when you have wind shear, the storm could die down. It could just go over to these islands and then just completely dissipate. But if this storm tries to survive longer and move up in this direction with our Bermuda High, that's where we get the strengthening at. And honestly, realistically, it looks like the storm wants to. If the storm were to move across areas of the United States, it doesn't look like it's going to go straight towards the Carolinas, although it's very well still possible. That's why everybody has to continue to keep watching these weather updates. Right now, we don't have like an alarming area for the United States on the mainland of the lower 48, but we still have to watch out and keep weather aware of where the storm could go. Specifically, Benami. Benami, you have to watch out for what is possible in this area as well. It's going to be very possible around Hamilton and St. George's. So you have to watch out for this area right here because this area is possible for this storm to go with that Bermuda High. It can move in that direction like that. But as you get into these areas of the island area, you're going to want to watch out for this storm. We're going to see where that cone is eventually when this storm, if this storm develops, and we'll give you the latest on what could happen with that. So, as far as the Storm Prediction Center today, we have a lot. We're breaking down a lot in this video today, but Storm Prediction Center, let's go to that outlook. Storm Prediction Center, we're not having our enhanced risk of severe weather like we've had for the other days before, but we do have a slight risk of severe weather. This is going to be areas of Davenport, Peoria, Champaign, Cedar Rapids, things like that. So these are areas we want to watch out for. Slight risk of severe weather. Marginal risk going to be for a lot of cities across the United States. Salt Lake City, Denver, north of Kansas City, and Indianapolis. You're going to be dealing with this. Now, tornado risk going to be south of Chicago. This area is normally going to have a risk of severe weather. For your wind threat, going to be mainly south of Chicago, but that wide region of marginal risk weather is possible. Now, I don't want to leave you out Maine, Vermont areas up there. You're going to have a marginal risk of severe weather as well as Nevada into areas of Utah. You have that marginal risk, and that wind threat is going to be along those areas as well. Going to be mainly south of Chicago with that slight risk of wind threat, but still you want to watch out for that low chance of wind threat as it is possible with these severe storms that continue to produce. Now for your hail threat, which we've been seeing lately, hail threat has been scattered across multiple areas. Recently rather, we haven't seen the hail threat scattered across these areas as much, but now it's been in a broader region, a wider region, and now that's something we got to watch out for. Now, as far as tomorrow, we do have a marginal risk of severe weather. This is going to be a broad area, going to include areas of the south, areas of the middle part of the country, Denver, Garden City, Wichita, Kansas City, Indianapolis, even down to Roanoke and close to Charlotte. You're going to be under this severe weather. Now, as far as tornadoes, going to be along the Midwestern areas. There's going to be Des Moines, Iowa, that you're going to deal with that severe weather that's possible. Wind threat going to be a broad area of wind threat, going to be all the way from Denver to eastern North Carolina. So broad area of wind going to be possible all the way from Denver to areas of eastern North Carolina. This is going to include areas of Raleigh, as you have that hail threat will be in effect for areas of Denver. Hail threat will be in effect for areas of Des Moines, Iowa, going to be where that marginal risk is, but that hail threat is not going to be as broad as the wind threat that is possible. Now, for our day 3, marginal risk of severe weather, this is going to be around Denver, Kansas City, Des Moines, Chicago, Indianapolis. It's going to dip all the way down to areas of Roanoke, Charlotte, and then even Columbia that we've got to watch out for. Getting into those metro areas, and then probabilistic. We're not going to be seeing that much probabilistic. It's going to be hard to see that, forecast that, because of course we're at day 3, so we're too far out at the moment. So nothing happening just yet with that severe weather. Now, as far as Weather Prediction Center, though, we do have the moderate risk of flooding around Indianapolis. This is where all of these floods have occurred. Chicago, slight risk for Omaha, slight risk for Louisville, Lexington, Evansville, Slight risk for Peoria, Champaign, Des Moines, Sioux City. This is going to be Denver, slight risk. Miles City, a lot of flooding is possible today. Las Vegas into east of Phoenix, Tucson, and then look at the marginal risk of flooding that's going to be possible. So a lot of flooding is possible today. Day two outlook as you get into Friday, going to be around Chicago, Indianapolis, Davenport, Des Moines. You're going to be dealing with a slight risk of flooding around Denver, slight risk of flooding, and then east of Las Vegas. You're going to be dealing with a slight risk. Marginal risk going to be for a broad area. Going to be for areas of North Carolina. A lot of the middle parts and western parts of the country will be dealing with flooding all the way up to the Canada border that we're going to be dealing with that flooding as well as you get into your day three outlook around Chicago. Slight risk of flooding east of Denver, slight risk of flooding as well. Marginal flooding will go all the way down to the Florida area that's going to be around Georgia as well, into areas of the Carolinas. Excessive rainfall will be possible in all of these areas. Climate Prediction Center above average temperatures expected for multiple people. Above average in Canada, as you get to the islands of Canada, you're below average around areas of the west and areas of the northeast for August 20th through August 26th. Below average temperatures in the northeast as well and around the Alaskan islands as well. And August, for the whole month of August, really everybody going to be above average temperatures. We're seeing it with the heat that's happening here. A lot of heat is possible. Heat advisories are in effect, as we talked about before, for multiple parts of the country. And this is going to be for these areas just right here into these areas. Atlanta, not under those heat advisories, but eastern parts. I think that is eastern parts of the Atlanta metro. I think those count the Atlanta metro. That's going to be a part of those heat advisories that are in effect. So heat advisories for the whole state of Alabama, all of these heat alerts that we explained before, flood watches in effect, as you can see there, for areas south of Chicago, Indianapolis, as we get into later parts of the day with that afternoon convection. We could expect constant flash flooding that'll be possible in these areas. Flash flood warning is in effect down there for areas of Phoenix. Flood watch is in effect for the west as well. So as we get to the afternoon parts, we're going to be dealing with that convection as well. And that's something we got to watch out for. Continuous convection will be possible with these storms. That's why you see the storms happen around the same time in the afternoon. That's just something that we're dealing with there. We look at the GFS model, as you can tell, there's probably a low pressure that's there. That's going to continue to move across that area. And then we're just going to get these low pressures that are probably going to, or these storm disruptors that are going to create problems. Here's a look at the HRRR model, as you can see. Shower and thunderstorm activity south of Chicago and things like that as we get into the end of the week. A lot of shower and thunderstorm areas in the south. And that marginal risk of severe weather pops up for areas of Columbia into Charlotte and things like that of that nature. A lot of shower and thunderstorm activity expected. We've got a long ways of severe weather that are possible. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if that marginal risk extends farther for Friday as you see all of those showers and thunderstorms pop up into northern Florida, into areas of southern Georgia. Anything is possible at this point with these summer type of showers and thunderstorms. We're going to be looking at a lot of these showers and thunderstorms for areas of North Carolina, Virginia as well. A lot of rain, a lot of flooding possible. Here's a look at the GFS temperature outlook. Now, I think this is the temperature, not the feel likes, which is around this region. But either way, it's going to be hot temperatures. As you can see, this is around 2 p.m. that the GFS is set. 100 degrees possible in the areas of Columbia. And the reason why this will be intense heat is not just because the high temperatures are in the hundreds, but the heat indexes are going to be up to 110 degrees. Unsafe temperatures for today. Heat advisory in effect. Heat alerts will continue as you get into tomorrow. We have 103 degrees. 103 degrees for Columbia, 100 for Greenville, 100 for Charlotte, 99 Macon, 98 Atlanta, 101 Augusta, 101 Orangeburg, 100 Myrtle Beach, 100 Lumberton, and get into the middle part of the country, 105 for Tulsa, 102 Oklahoma City, 101 for Springfield, 101 for Little Rock. Temperatures will increase, 99 for Dallas Fort Worth, 92 for Lubbock. Let's look down here into McAllen, 98 degrees. Oklahoma City, 102, and the whole region around there. I mean, just you have a lot of temperatures that are possible. This is going to be into Friday as well. That's why those heat advisories are in effect and those extreme heat warnings are in effect. As we get into Saturday, we're going to start more hot temperatures are possible. We're looking at 104 here in Colombia, as you can see. I was going to say we're starting to cool down, but not necessarily. As you get into the Atlanta region, we're getting close. 107 Columbia, that's getting far out. 107, that's a lot. You can tell that we're still in the summer. A lot of hot temperatures. Look at the middle part of the country here. We're talking 108 Tulsa by August 20th. If this were to stick around and modeling here, this is something we got to watch out for. We have some heat, possibly some record-breaking heat, to be honest here, that we have to watch out for. And I'm going to show you what the National Weather Service NOAA outlook of the heat map that's going on here in effect for these areas, as in Davenport areas east of Des Moines, Iowa. You got to watch out for. This is not the right model either. Let's go back to the national. But special weather statements for areas of Georgia. We're starting to see some shower and thunderstorm activity this afternoon for areas of Georgia as well. So that's something we got to watch out for as well. I mean, look at the lightning strikes that are popping up for areas near Metro Atlanta as well. Rain showers moving into areas of western North Carolina, moving into the Piedmont region. They're already in the western North Carolina area. But pretty much going to be an active day of severe weather. We're still watching the tropics. Remember, we are going to see if this storm will develop. Tropical storm Lala is in effect already for areas of Hawaii, so that's already set in stone. But we are watching these two storm systems. Tropical storm Cristobal is not moving. I honestly expected this one to probably be Cristobal, but that one formed earlier and quicker. We're watching this one down here to see what happens. This is an invest, so they're investigating both of these storm systems. It could even develop by the time we get to the, what is that, the 2 p.m. update. By the 2 p.m. update, it could develop about that time. But my name is Mike. We're here to give you the latest on the update of what's going on. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with a person you know, and I'll see you out there in the weather community. Stay safe.